Hi, and welcome to Get In, We're Going Healing. I am your host, Tovah. If you are returning to this program and to my channel, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I hope that I'm helping you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me. The purpose of this show is to help people learn to identify the things that are holding them back, the things that are preventing them from being their absolute best selves. You have the potential to be your absolute best self, but there's going to be some work involved. So this show is about helping you with that. I want to remind everybody, I am not a licensed anything in regards to psychology, emotional development, any of those things. I am a massage therapist. I am a mom. I am a healer. I am a fellow human who has been through this experience. And because of that, I'm just trying to share the things that I have learned and the things that I am currently learning as I walk down my healing path with you, so that you might also benefit from walking your healing path and finding the ways to heal and grow as a person. So that being said, welcome to Get In, We're Going Healing. Today's topic is feeling your feelings. Feeling your feelings. That sounds crazy, but we're going to talk about it, and we're going to delve a little more into what that means to feel your feelings. So when I first started learning how to do this, it was in learning to teach my child, who is now in first grade, but at the time he was in kindergarten, how to acknowledge his feelings and be mindful of them and process them and heal them, or at least learn how to navigate them. And as someone who has not been taught that, I also had to learn that in order to teach that. So that has been part of my growth. So when I say how to feel your feelings, what does that mean? Okay, so we already know that we have all these different feelings, right? We have anger, we have sadness, we have frustration, we have joy, we have jealousy, we have silliness, we have sadness, we have all types of different feelings, okay? Some of them are positive feelings that are pretty easy for us to feel, okay? Usually when we're happy, usually when we're excited, we can feel those feelings relatively easily. But we also feel those negative feelings, and sometimes we can get stuck in those feelings. This kind of ties a little bit into our ego stories episode before. We will do another episode on ego stories to get a little more into it and how to recognize your patterns, but that's not for today. Today, we are learning about feeling our feelings. So when we have a feeling, we can sometimes get trapped in our feeling. And then our thoughts circle around the feeling. And then because our thoughts circle around the feeling, we feel the feeling longer. So what do we do about that? Okay, so when we push our feelings down and we don't deal with them, we actually make them stick around longer. A lot of people have been conditioned to push away your feelings, to bury them down. This comes from societal expectations. This comes from previous generations and how they raise children. It comes in the way that your parents spoke to you or your caregivers spoke to you. And it also comes in the way that we speak to our children. When we don't validate their feelings, when we don't acknowledge their feelings, because we don't identify with that reality, we don't identify those feelings that went with that reality. So then that pushes down the feeling and it teaches us we can't trust our feelings. We can't trust when we feel upset about something and a parent says, oh, it's not a big deal. Then we question ourselves. Is it a big deal or is it not a big deal? It feels like a big deal to me, but this person is telling me that it's not a big deal, so maybe I'm wrong. And that's the first part where we usually learn to stop acknowledging our feelings, to stop validating our feelings. So when we push our feelings down, they end up sticking around longer. It's not that they go away, it's that we just stop hearing them. We just tell ourselves, no, I won't feel that, and we shove it down. But like sticking things in a closet, if we, or like to put a garbage bag that's really full, as we put more in it and we just squash it down and push it down so we can just get a little more in there, eventually we're going to hit our top. Eventually we're going to hit the top level. Same thing when we shove it in a closet. Eventually the closet's going to get full. We open the door and it all comes tumbling out. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge them and we want to let them go. So we live in a society that traditionally has not supported emotional awareness. So what this is teaching to feel your feelings is emotional awareness. So how do we do that? How do we do that? When we feel a feeling, how do we do that? So the way that we do that is when a feeling comes up, we notice it, we acknowledge it, we welcome it, we allow it to be, and then we allow it to go. Okay. So what does that mean? How do we do that? So one of the ways that we can do is to treat our feelings like they are visitors, because we already know, if you've been following my show, you're already familiar with the fact that we are not our feelings, we are not our thoughts, we are our higher selves. And then all of those things are part of us, but we are not the things that we think. We are not our feelings. We are not that angry person, even though we might be angry, we might be experiencing anger. We are not the angry person. We are the person who experiences the emotion, the person who is aware of the emotion. I brought up way back in season 1, I brought up about something that I've used with my son about being the pond, that you are not the angry fish, the sad fish, the jealous fish, the embarrassed fish, any of those. You are not the fish swimming in the pond. You are the pond itself. So while you might notice the angry fish and the sad fish and the embarrassed fish and the frustrated fish and all those different things, you are not actually the fish. You are the pond in which the fish are swimming. So when you have a feeling, you are not actually the feeling. You are the person experiencing the feeling. You are the consciousness that experiences the feeling, but you're not the feeling. So the feeling is like a visitor. You allow it to come. You allow it to go. You wouldn't want your visitor to move in with you and be there permanently and constantly be hanging out with you. You want them to show up, share what they have to share, be where they need to be, and then go and leave. So our feelings, just like us, want to be seen and heard. Our feelings come up because there's a message they want to tell us. There's a wounded part, there's something that's connected to that feeling. It wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, it wants to be felt, and then let it go. It's released, just like we do. So we just give it space. So we do that by acknowledging first how we feel. So as we already talked about with the different types of feelings, name it, name it. So if you feel frustrated, acknowledge, you don't even have to acknowledge it to anyone else, just to yourself. I feel frustrated. I feel embarrassed. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel lonely. I feel happy. I feel silly. I feel love. I feel insert whatever it is you're feeling. I feel, once you name it, once you know what it is, it's easier to move forward with it because you know what it is. Okay. Sometimes you don't even know what you feel. Okay. Maybe you might be the type of person who has shoved your feelings down for so long, you don't even know how to feel anymore. Okay. So where do we go from there? That might be just acknowledging that I am frustrated that I can't feel. Start there. You start with the feeling you're feeling in that moment. I'm frustrated that I can't feel. Okay, you don't have to solve it. Just acknowledge it. I feel frustrated. When we validate what we feel, we can make that real. Okay, so whatever feeling we're feeling, acknowledge it. I feel frustrated. Okay, so now we acknowledge it. I feel frustrated. And then we sit with that. Okay, we sit with it. It comes up. We notice it. Okay, I feel frustrated. I notice that I'm feeling frustrated. So now we notice, how does it feel in our bodies? Okay, do you feel hot? Do you feel tired? Does your face feel red? Does your body feel hot? Are you sweating? Are you silly? Do you feel tingly? Do you feel dizzy? Do you feel out of control? What do you feel? What does your body feel when that emotion comes up? So instead of focusing on the thoughts that surround, I feel frustrated because, we're not giving the because. Okay, we're not giving qualifiers as to why, because that feeds into our ego story. That feeds into keeping that story alive, which we're trying not to do. We want to feel the feeling, not feed the feeling. So we're going to feel it. I feel frustrated and my body feels like this. So we allow ourselves to feel what the feeling feels like without trying to shove it down. We acknowledge it. We open to it. We allow it to come and wash over us, and we allow it to go. The advantage to letting it wash over you is that most feelings, if you open to it and you allow yourself to feel it without identifying with the feeling, but just feeling the feeling, it only takes about 1.5 minutes for the feeling to pass, about 90 seconds-ish, if you don't feed it. So if you feel the feeling, let's say something happened, I'll give an example from my life. I've asked my child to go do something and I come back and he still hasn't done it. And we're on the clock, we've got time, we have to get done. We've got a time frame and he's still not doing it. I feel frustrated. Something outside of me has happened and I feel frustrated. So I acknowledge that and say, I feel frustrated. So then I sit with it for a minute and I breathe and I acknowledge it. And I don't try to feed it. I don't push it away. I feel frustrated and I feel how that feels in my body. Usually it feels tight in my shoulders. I feel tense throughout my body. I feel it. I acknowledge it. I welcome it and I let it pass. And as I breathe and I let it go and I don't feed into it, I'm frustrated because of time and it's time to go and my kid's still not doing it and we're running late and blah, 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 filling the story because it's the ego story that's filling in why you feel it. We're not feeding the feeling, we're just feeling the feeling. So I feel frustrated. Okay, I feel it in my body. I feel frustrated. I feel, all right, we're just going to own it. Yes, it's all right. It's okay. I feel frustrated. It's fine. Feel it, acknowledge it, breathe through it, and let it pass. Okay, I want to share with you because I think this is really important. There was a video that came out about 3 years ago or so about a dad who, it went viral, and it went viral for a very good reason, because this father was acknowledging his child's feelings. He was helping her process her feelings. She was angry. He had called her a name in a teasing way, which apparently happens in their home. They just joke like that. And that day she just wasn't feeling it. And her feelings got hurt and she got angry with her father for teasing her. And the way that he addressed it is he says to her, you don't always have to be happy or silly or funny. You can feel any way that you need to feel. Ooh, that gives chills. He says, the important thing is whatever you're feeling, whenever you're feeling these moods like this, it's okay to feel them. Just don't sit there. Don't stay there all the time. Okay. You want to accept it. You want to honor it. You want to acknowledge it and then let it go. Just let it be. You are still loved. You are still safe. And you are surrounded by white healing light. You can be mad at me or mom or your sister or yourself. You can be mad. Just don't hold on to it for too long, because that's when it gets to be a big problem. And that's really the key. I mean, that says it all. When I watch that video, honest to gosh, it makes me cry. It makes me cry because I wish someone had parented me that way. I wish that my parents, instead of invalidating my feelings, had acknowledged that I had the right to feel whatever feeling I was feeling for whatever reason I was feeling it. Now, I can't go back and change how my parents raised me, but I can parent myself. I can give myself the things that my parents could not give to me. I can do that for me, and you can do that for you. When you validate your own feelings and say, I feel this, and it is okay that I feel this, not guilting yourself, not making yourself feel bad because you feel that way. If you feel angry, you are allowed to feel angry. You do not have to justify why you feel that feeling. You don't have to justify it to anyone else. You are entirely, completely allowed to feel the feeling that you are feeling. The difference is when you take that feeling and you act out on it. And that's when we get back in those ego stories again, when we feed the story in our ego, and then we feel that we are justified in spreading that out to other people because we need to feel better about that feeling. You don't need to do that. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge your feeling, sit with it, allow it to be there, and then allow it to go. Meditation is an excellent technique for that. Mindfulness meditation in particular. Again, I know I've said it before, but I can't stress enough how much I absolutely love the app Headspace. Like, I love the app Headspace, and I do it every day. And the reason that I use this app is because it does teach when a thought comes up, when a feeling comes up, allowing it to be without having to do anything about it. You don't have to act on it. You can just feel it, have it happen, and then let it pass and move on. 90 seconds, okay? 90 seconds of discomfort with it is all that you're going to experience if you allow it to pass. 90 seconds is all that you have. It's not, I know when you're in it, it feels like it's going to last forever. It won't. I promise you it won't. It won't, as long as you're not feeding it. If you allow the feeling to be and let it pass, it will pass. Sometimes you need to act to do something to allow it to pass. Now, that's when we go back to what I talked about before in the book, How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole Lepera. She talks in there about coping, like coping mechanisms to handle stuff, as well as endurance. And we can use both when we're feeling a big feeling. When we're feeling, if we can't just sit with it, if we're having a very hard time sitting with it, that would be a good time to do something to help you cope. Now, again, distractions are helpful in instances, but I worry a lot about people who disassociate, use scrolling and mindless television as a way to numb out and avoid feeling the feeling that you're feeling. Substances, anyone who is a recovering addict who previously used substances as a coping mechanism, they did it because they were avoiding the feelings that they didn't want to feel. All addicts do that. I know that it's a controversial thing, but truthfully, anyone who uses a substance to avoid feeling their feelings, they're doing it because the feeling is so large and they don't know how to cope with it. So they just choose to not feel it, to numb it out, to avoid feeling the feeling. We can heal the feelings. We can heal the feels by feeling the feeling, by allowing the feeling to be. Allow yourself that space, hold space for yourself, allow yourself the space to feel what you're feeling without judgment. You are not judging it. You're not saying, oh, I feel mad and I shouldn't feel mad. I feel this and I shouldn't feel mad. You are not judging the feeling, okay? You are just feeling it. Allow that feeling to be without telling yourself that you're wrong, or that you're not entitled, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself that you should not feel that feeling. There is no should not in these situations. You are a human being and you feel feelings. We all do. It's part of being human. It's part of having this human experience. We all feel our feelings, and it's okay to feel however it is that you feel without having to justify the feeling or shove it down or judge it in any way. Just allow it. Give yourself the space and remind yourself, I am allowed to feel this way. And then be with it. Let it. Tell yourself it's okay that you feel angry. It's okay that you feel frustrated. It's okay that you feel lonely. It's okay that you feel embarrassed. It's okay that you feel sad. It's okay. It is okay. You are okay. It is okay to feel these things. Feel it, acknowledge it, validate it, and let it go. It's the same thing you can do with your children. It's honestly, it's the same technique to teaching your children. It's the same thing. Or really, truthfully, anybody. You could use this with your partner. You could use it with coworkers. You could use it with employees. You could use it with your children. It's all the same thing. It's validating the emotion. It is okay that you feel this feeling. Feel it, allow it, acknowledge it, then let it pass. We can endure it even just by taking a walk. I am a big proponent of taking a walk, sitting outside, sitting in nature. Remind yourself that the problem that you're experiencing is small in comparison to the entire existence. When you are out in nature, it reminds you the wind keeps on blowing, the leaves keep on growing or falling, the bees keep on buzzing, the bugs keep on bugging. Everything keeps on turning. The world keeps on turning, even though you're having this emotional thing. And that can be helpful in reminding yourself that your whole existence is not this feeling that you're having. Your whole world is not this sad feeling you're having. It will pass if you allow it to pass without grasping it, without trying to hold it, without wrapping yourself in it and identifying with it, allowing it to be, and then let go. That's the key. That's always the key. So, I mean, this gets into wounded, this gets into our parts work, and we will have an episode, a future episode about parts work and acknowledging your wounded parts and whatever the wounded thing is that's causing that feeling. There's something happened to you that causes that feeling, that triggers something. There's a part of you that got hurt somehow, somewhere in your timeline. And that feeling that comes up with the experience of whatever happened, the situation that happened that triggered it, it's because there's a part in there that has not been acknowledged or validated. There's a part in there that is screaming for you to notice it because it has experienced this feeling before. It has experienced a similar situation, and it sets off a thing where there's a part of you that was never validated. It was never acknowledged. It was never heard or seen. And it's trying to get your attention to say, I need to be seen and heard right now. That's parts work. We will do that in a future episode because I don't want to keep this episode too long. But yeah, that's really it. Acknowledge your feeling. Acknowledge that you name it, feel it, validate it, sit with it, and then allow it to go. Thank you for coming to me and sharing this information. You may leave. There's a pagan phrase, or sorry, a Wiccan phrase in ritual that says at the end, when you're ending a circle, when you're ending a ritual of any kind, it's usually, at least how I used to do it. Thank you for being with me for this rite. Stay if you will, go if you must. Hail and farewell. So same kind of idea with the feeling. Thank you for coming to me and sharing with me what you need to share with me. You're free to do as you like. Stay if you want to. Go if you want to. Thanks for being here. That's the sort of feel that you want to do. So yeah, I think I've covered everything I want to do on this topic. So I hope that this talk on feeling your feelings has been beneficial for you. I hope that this will help you. I mean, I want you to remember, on your healing path, nothing happens instantaneously. This is all going to be practice. You will have to keep practicing it until it becomes more comfortable and second nature. So in the beginning, when you're feeling your feelings, you may have a very hard time feeling your feelings. And again, that goes back to just saying, I feel frustrated because I can't feel. I feel frustrated because I'm not feeling. I feel like I'm not connecting with my feelings, and that frustrates me. That's a great place to start. As you begin to acknowledge your feelings, as you begin to become aware of your feelings, it will become easier. In the beginning, it's always hard. Brene Brown says, what is it? FFT, Fuck the first time. The first time you do something, it's going to be hard. It is unfamiliar. It's going to take practice. You will have to get used to it. Over time, as you do it, it becomes more familiar and it becomes commonplace, and it's much more comfortable and easier to do. So as you start trying to acknowledge your feelings and feeling your feelings, you're going to have a hard time if you've never done this before. It's okay. It's okay. It's normal. It's totally normal to feel that way. You are not different. You are not a failure. You are not, none of that stuff. All of these things are just new. And as you become more comfortable with them, it will become easier, I promise you. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you learn to express your feelings. I hope you learn to feel your feelings. Journal work is always a beneficial thing. If you want to journal, please journal. Please write your thoughts down. If you can't keep track of how you feel, write it down. I feel frustrated because, or I feel frustrated that I can't feel. I feel frustrated that I am not being heard. I feel frustrated that I am not being acknowledged. I feel angry that whatever. Okay, write it down. It does help. I promise you, it does help. I'm a big proponent of journaling. It does truly help. So if you are going to stick around for the tarot pull, I'm just going to do one card this time, and I'm going to load a separate video for a full tarot reading, just because it's a little easier, I think. So it keeps you up on where you need to be. I will upload separate videos on full tarot readings, but we'll just do a tarot pull. So if you've stuck it around this long, thanks. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for being on this healing journey with me. Thank you for hearing what I have to say. Thank you for healing yourself, honestly. And this makes me a little emotional, but I'm going to feel my feelings. Thank you for taking the time to do the work to heal yourself. Truly. It makes a big difference in the type of quality of life you will have. It makes a difference in the life that your children will have. It makes a difference in the life of those around you. Honestly, it makes a world of difference. Thank you for being on this healing path and loving yourself enough to do the work. I love you, fellow human. Love and light. Till next time. If you are sticking around and you are going to do the tarot pull, we're going to pull one card, just one today. So because I don't always remember all the meanings of my other deck, my regular tarot deck, we're going to use the Osho Zen deck because it's just easier for me. I'm still learning the other tarot. Some of them I know off by heart, but not everything. So, oh, that was quick. And this is a beautiful card we've got before, and I'm going to show you again. This is the Harmony card. And in this picture, you see this person who is in quiet contemplation. They are in meditation, and you see the two dolphins jumping from their heart space to their third eye chakra. The dolphins are playful, they're fun, they're joyous. And this card reminds us that when we are living from our heart space, when we are acknowledging life and ourselves and others from our heart, when we are giving love to others, it actually helps us to grow. We are seeing the world in a more open place, strictly because we are open to love. We are open to the harmony that comes with love. There is a really awesome song that I've been listening to on Spotify that my friend shared with me. I will actually link it down in the comments, or I'm sorry, in the description, just for those who are interested in, because I think it's amazing and I listen to it like every day. And it reminds you that the highest frequency that we can vibrate on, the highest frequency is love. When we move from a space of love, when we move to speak to others from a place of love, when we move to speak to ourselves from a place of love, we actually vibrate at a higher level. Oh, it's making the hairs on my arm stand up. We vibrate at a higher level, the highest level. When we have love for ourselves, we can't help but to have love for those around us. When we have compassion and forgiveness for our mistakes, we can't help but have compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes of those around us. When we love ourselves and honor ourselves, we can't help but love and honor those around us as well. When we always look at it from a space of love. I love me. I love you. I love everything. When we come from that space, we're open to so much more blessings, so many more amazing things coming to our lives than if we are closed off and we are angry and we are resentful and we are bitter. When we come from a place of love, of compassion, the whole world changes. So bottom of the deck energy, we got slowing down. We have this turtle walking in here and he's walking slowly towards the beach, slowing down. Slowing down reminds us, slow down. It's not a race, folks. We're moving towards, this is our life. This is our life. The end is death, okay? The end of this life is just non-existing in this existence anymore. You're not here anymore. So what are you rushing for? Take your time, enjoy life, slow down. Enjoy what comes to you on the day-to-day. Enjoy from the moment you wake up till the end of the night. And I know that can be hard, especially for those of us who have children. I have been in that boat where you're just waiting for bedtime. I understand. You're just waiting till quitting time. I understand. I have been there. I'm still there sometimes. By slowing down and being with each moment, we allow ourselves to actually take in the whole day. What if it were your last day on earth? What if it were your last day existing here on this planet? Would you want to rush through the day? Or do you want to remember every single thing, good or bad? Live that now. Live that existence now. Be in your moment now. This is the life you are living. This is the world you are in right now. Try to find the joy. Try to find the love. As you give love, you will see more love. So that is what I have for you today. If you feel called to, you can donate to the show. I will have all those links down below. My PayPal, my the buy me a coffee. You can also join the Patreon, where I try to do my best to release episodes a week in advance before they go public, at least the video content. And I am also looking to start adding bonus content as well, of little things of, like I said, the separate tarot reading to do a longer reading for the collective, but also different little points. I'd love to start doing some meditations. If those are interesting to any of you, please join. Yeah. So until next time, love and light, fellow human. I love you. Keep going. Mwah.